let's talk about some more weird things here in Colombia. Hi everybody and welcome back to How to Expat. My name is Tasha and I'm actually from Switzerland living in Colombia in case you're new to the channel. So I've been recording a lot of weird things video and most of you really wanted more of them, so here I am again. And so yeah, I think I'll try to make it short. So yeah, if you have any questions or any other weird things you want me to mention in a future video, let me know in the comments down below. So let's get started. So one of the things that actually scared me when we first came to Colombia was a lot of people walking but some people walking around with machetes. And I wasn't sure if this is like to defend themselves, if it's like instead of having a gun, but we pretty much figured out that this is just to cut grass, for example. Cut the weed, cut the grass and outside, and a lot of like campesinos, like farmers, have a machete on them because they're working, so it's just like a working tool. In general, talking about working here in Colombia, we noticed like we have a lot of construction work going on where we live, and in the past apartments actually, so pretty much they're always constructing something, especially like high-rises, and it's kind of interesting to observe what they're doing, how they're doing it, and compare it with what we are used to from Switzerland. And what we noticed pretty fast was that they usually do a lot of things manually, which takes so much longer than actually having the fitted tool, like the right tool to do it, like the machine. So sometimes last time they used I don't even know how it's called, but they used the wrong machine to put down a wall, and it took them like 3 days, and the wall wasn't big at all. So it's just like, it's interesting to see that, like how they work and how inefficient it is for our perspective, just because everything takes longer, which makes sense at the end of the day because everything takes longer here. So I think it's just like they're not as efficient as in other countries, and they take it more kind of slow, let's say. But again, if you see people walking around with machetes, it's usually not to defend themselves or attack you or anything like that, so you really don't have to be afraid of that. It's just a working tool after all. So another thing is that I think is kind of normal for Americans when I'm right, but not for me as a Swiss person. What I mean is, when you go to a grocery store and get to the cashier and you pay, there's usually a person packing your things. And how they pack your things is they use a lot of plastic bags. Sometimes they even use like one plastic bag for one item that is maybe a little bit bigger, but they would fit a lot more, but they use a lot of plastic bags. On the other hand, first of all, you have to pay for them, but they're like really inexpensive, like 5 cents, not even. But the thing here is they also use it as trash bags, which in Switzerland, as a comparison, is not the case, because in Switzerland it's forbidden to use normal plastic bags as trash bags. So there you have to have the specific bags, you have to go to the grocery store and pay for them. And if they find out that you didn't use the designated bag, the trash bag, well, you get a fine, and it's a lot. It's a lot of money. So this doesn't happen here, not at all. Nobody cares. So you can use whatever bag you want. But again, when you go to the grocery store, sometimes in most of them they pack your things into a bag, and a lot of plastic bags. So if you want to avoid that, bring your own bags and give it to them, or just pack it yourself depending on where you go for grocery store shopping. But yeah, that's something you should know, that it's normal here, and you don't have to feel bad about someone doing that for you, because it's their job here. It's different from other countries. Then another thing is, well, I noticed that lately. So here in Medellin specifically, you have a lot of high rises, and therefore, well, when you're living in the 26th on the 26th floor, well, you really need an elevator, or it would be better like that. So the thing is that I noticed that since I haven't had or haven't spent so much time in an elevator before we came to Colombia, so I noticed that people here, they don't mind looking in your direction. So for example, you're standing in the elevator and you look into the like direction of the door, right? It opens and closes, and behind you is usually like a mirror. So sometimes people come in and actually face you instead of the exit or the door, which is super odd to me because I personally feel super awkward, because like, I don't know, I feel like they invade my private zone, like my private, how do you call it? Let's call it private area. And it feels uncomfortable to me at least. But I noticed that a lot, that people do that. They face you, sometimes they look at you, sometimes they don't. They don't stare at you or something, but it's just like, for me personally, I'm not used to it, so it's pretty uncomfortable because usually people face away from other people where I'm coming from and not in the direction of other people. So maybe it's a Colombian thing, maybe just in my high-rise that I'm living in, I don't know. But that's another thing that I noticed. And oh, we have to add some food. One thing about food. So coming from Switzerland, we have food from France, Italy, like it's pretty international, the food in Switzerland. So, and since we're so close to Italy, we have amazing food because Italian food is amazing, let's be honest. So what I noticed here is that first of all, the Italian food is most of the time, to be honest, pretty disappointing. The pasta is overcooked. Lasagna doesn't have like tomato sauce in it, usually just like the white sauce. And sometimes I don't want to go on about that, but to make it short, the Italian food is not really authentic, which is okay because we're not in Italy anyway. But I'm just saying. So what I also noticed when you go to Italian restaurants, like there are chains like Parmigiano, for example, which is like a little bit more high class restaurant, and they have a really good menu, and it's pretty closer to be authentic than other restaurants, let's say. And so there, and in a lot of other restaurants, they always serve bread with pasta. And so I've never seen that before in any country I've been to, that you serve bread with pasta. So every pasta meal here comes with bread. So that's really interesting to me because in Switzerland, for example, you don't get any bread with pasta, but always with salad. Like you need bread with the salad because when this the dressing is so good, you eat the dressing with the bread, for example, which doesn't happen here. On the contrary, so you just get salads usually without bread, which is totally confusing to me, who is like really used to that. So there are just some things that are the opposite of what I'm used to and just different, which I think is interesting that they do it that way. And I would really like to know why they do it that way, because it's not coming from Italy as far as I know. So the last topic is about pregnancy here, early pregnancies. So what I noticed here is that a lot of young people are pregnant and have kids, not because this was their family planning, but because, well, in a lot of countries like Colombia, protection is not really a thing, mainly because they can't afford it, and second, because they don't know about it, like education wise. So the thing here is that when I went to the doctor, she told me that it's actually for free, so you can actually get birth control for free for like 5 years. It's like a little stick that you put in your arm with hormones, and so you can't get pregnant. And people here are getting that for free, and in other countries that would cost you like between, I would say, like $500 to $800. So I think that's amazing that they do that. But yeah, on the other hand, a lot of people don't do that anyway. They maybe haven't had the money or the chance to go to a doctor in the first place, so yeah, they get pregnant pretty early. What happens? So since it's a really family culture here, usually the whole family takes care of the kid. Also, what I've noticed is that a lot of people here, especially if they're not living in the city but outside, they leave the kid with the grandmother and or the grandparents. They kind of raise the kid, and the mother goes to the city, for example, to make money, to go and find work in order to sustain the family. So in general, when you're coming here and you're dating someone, the possibility that that person, that woman has already a kid is pretty high, because it happens. You really see it a lot. You really see a lot of young pregnant women here. So I think that's interesting, not relevant but interesting, that you have that a lot, like the rate of young pregnancies, and yeah, that a lot of kids are raised by the grandparents and not even by their own parents itself. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the video. I hope it was fast, I don't know. So let me know if you want to see another video and what topics you're interested that you want me to talk about. And so yeah, thanks again for watching the video. Don't forget that we have a Patreon channel where you can ask more specific questions that you have, where we can be more detailed about your specific case, and just support us that we can sustain ourselves and keep doing our channel and the videos that you like, I hope. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video.